Welcome to my DCS A-10C Warthog video. This is the A-10C from the Digital Combat Simulator series made by Eagle Dynamics, the guys that brought us Lock-On Modern Air Combat and DCS Black Shark. Okay, so I'm looking at my HUD there as the centre display, which you can see through the window. On the right I've got my right MFCD, which displays at this point targeting pod, that video camera image. That left MFCD, there's my TAD page, which is map. Then it was the missile profile page, then the targeting pod page, and back to the digital stores management system. That was my Maverick, my CDU, my message page, back to the targeting pod. Don't know why I flicked through those so quickly. All of that's controlled through the throttle. As per my previous video, I've got the A10 Warthog controller, and everything you can flick around with just your fingers. It's fantastic. Alright, coming in here for a Hydra rocket kill. There's two Urals, which are trucks just sitting parked on this red flare down here. The Hydras are the shotgun of the aviation world. Fuck all use from anything but very close range, 200 to 300 metres. The trucks just start to resolve here, and yep, there we go.
Pull up, pull up.
Rifle 1, 2 and 3.
Altitude, altitude.
And I think I get 3 direct hits there, which I'm pretty stoked with. Of course I had to fly.
The narration in Bastion is fucking awesome.
Around.
Nice job taking out those trucks. The next target is Insurgent Patrol, 2 trucks and infantry, at waypoint 3, labeled Patrol. The target is marked with red smoke. Take it out.
Alright, so I think I realise in a moment I've still got 2 Hydra Rockets left. Yep, there we go. Got a shitload of cannon rounds. That thing slightly to the right of that left display is the, when you're getting pings by radar, it'll pop up there, tell you the generic direction away from you. Somewhat useful, but scanning the landscape for a tiny little tracked vehicle when you're getting pinged and shot at, very stressful. Alright, so on the rocket display, that circular thing, I'm in gun mode at the moment, and it's showing rockets. Inside that little circle is another little circle that will then break up into a line that winds down. Once it gets between the 2 range markers, one of which is about 6 o'clock and one is at the 1 o'clock, within that is your safe range, or correct range. So you depress your release weapons button somewhere in there. That's the GAU-8 Avenger cannon, 30 foot long. Fires depleted uranium rounds, it's awesome. You can really lay some smack down on this pass, but here we go, Hydra Rockets.
Pull up, pull up.
Rifle 1, rifle
Altitude,
2.
altitude. Pull up, pull up. Warning,
Difficult
autopilot.
thing about that target there, a lot of little dudes carrying man-pad launchers, which normally would be firing back at me, but being that this is a easy little weapons run, they don't. Alright, that was my GBU-12 I just selected, so guided bomb unit, which is a JDAM. JDAMs are fucking huge, and they will blow up bridges, buildings, bunkers, runways, you name it. Beautiful scenery. Love the shadows on the cockpit. Love the freedom of that track IA unit to just look around wherever I like. Makes flying the plane feel intuitive. Being able to look over your shoulder. Can't wait for the next DCS game where everyone's hoping, or a lot of people hoping, it's going to be the FA-18 Superbug or Super Hornet, which is mostly that model attack aircraft, and the Super Hornet has a lot of that. But the ability to get into some aerial duels would be very, very welcome. Which you can get if you play Lock-On Modern Air Combat, but the fidelity of the simulation ain't nothing like this. It was complicated at the time when it was released, but these games, the one we're looking at now, perfectly model the cockpit and the procedures and everything about the aircraft. Go cannon.
Pull up, pull up. Altitude, altitude.
Yeah, that fucking perfectly models the real aircraft, except for, a few very secret military components.
Contact, Congo, 6 o'clock.
that don't really make a difference to how the game flies. That was my wingman just telling me he'd located targets. The flying in this video is a little sloppy. I'm kind of more focused on the weaponry systems. I'm not quite at the stage where weapon release is intuitive. That's the tab page. So you see there, I'm flicking that with my thumb. I've made it the sensor of interest by holding coolie hat left long. And as you can see, the yellow box there is on the inner circle of the 20k, which is on the top right. So that's the 20k view. If it's on the inner circle, it's about 10 kilometers away. So what I'm going to do now, that's my weapons profile page. There's GAU-12. I'm going to go into the profile. I'm going to set auto-lase. And I'm going to set the mode to CCRP, which is continuously calculated release point, which is where you can fly straight and level, and as we'll see shortly, release the bomb successfully on target. There's also CCIP, which is continuously calculated impact point, which is all about kinetic, dropping a bomb on the target by flying towards it and arcing the bomb in. Okay, so you see I've got a long, so there's the reticle on the HUD, heads-up display, and we're getting very close. Just need to use the map to understand what direction I want to face. There's a long arm coming up off the reticle now. Okay, targeting pod. Hold back long on the China hat, whatever that control is marked to. Back long will slave that sensor to the next target. Sorry, to the next waypoint. So that bridges the waypoint 4. I hold back long on the China hat and it automatically saves the TGP to your waypoint. You can then use forward short while the TGP sensor is sensor of interest. Forward short will zoom in. You can also use your DMS on your joystick to zoom in even further and zoom in and out. And with your targeting pod, you've also got the little finger switch, or finger, I don't know what you call it, nubbin on the back of the throttle, which you then use to adjust the camera as well. So there's my wingman, that little blue thing in the clouds. So what you can also do is use that little nubbin to move your targeting pod camera around, and then when you've got it on something you want, so this is when the HUD is active, back long on the China hat, will slave the TGP, and all of a sudden you'll have camera on what you want to look at. Learning to switch between HUD, left and right MFCD, and using that China hat successfully is what it takes to become comfortable with picking up targets. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here, that line that's kind of bouncing left and right is pretty much my aircraft. I need to line it up with the straight line, which is the calculated release point. When you get closer to the target, a little circle right at the top of the steady line comes up with a counter, which tells you how far into your release point, which of course is dependent on your altitude, how far the bomb has to drop. All you really need to do, once that pipper starts dropping, it's called the pipper, press and hold your weapons release. Even if it's 20 seconds away, just press and hold it, and then just keep your aircraft the centre of that reticle on the steady line, on the line. You'll still wave around a bit, but that's okay, especially if you've got enough altitude. You've got all the time in the world to lase the target. Now I've got it set to auto-lase, so I don't need to worry. It's going to lase it about 15 seconds from the ground. It will start lasing, which will then guide the bomb to target, hence why it's called a guided bomb unit. You can auto-lase using the pinky switch, which is the same switch you use to activate nose wheel steering when you're taking off. I can't quite see the image in Vegas, but I think that pipper's dropping. You'll hear it release. There it comes. Fantastic. Now I'm going to fuck around a bit and try and get it into autopilot so we can hit F6 and watch that baby hit the target. I get a bit panicked here. I can't quite see the target I'm aiming for, so I think it's not auto-lasing. I can't see a bridge there. I'm freaking out. So then I start manually lasing. A little too early. slightly off target. But that bridge is fucked.
Warning, autopilot.
That's me
Warning,
trying to switch my
autopilot.
autopilot off. I'm not sure why it wouldn't let me. Alright, so that was the bridge. Now my favourite weapon. Fuck it, everyone's favourite weapon. The Mavericks. This is a Maverick D. They each come with different, like Maverick D's, Maverick H. Maverick H you can fire further, they've got a longer range, and you can force correlate, which means you can get it to go by its own camera rather than slave it to the targeting pod. But that's for another day. So I've already hit back long on the China hat because my waypoint's now changed to the next one, and that will go to the rough area that I need to be searching. In the next area we've got 2 anti-aircraft and 2 tanks. And for the sake of brevity,
Warning, autopilot.
for the sake of brevity, I'm only going to kill one of the AA and that'll be the video. So China hat back long, I'm going to use the little nubbin now to start searching around. I think at some stage I also realise I've got my black hot and white hot cameras. There we go. So that's an anti-aircraft. So up twice on the TMS, target management system, on your joystick. Up once for area, once for point, and then hold up for to make that the sensor point of interest, or the speed. Then I've moved to my Maverick camera, and I'm not quite pointed at the target.
Warning,
Maverick camera
autopilot.
doesn't have the angles or the range that the targeting pod has. It's also a very shitty quality camera. So I've made, by pressing up to area, up to point, and up long to make it the speed. What I can do now is if I switched, I've made the Maverick screen the SOI, sensor of interest, by holding right coolie hat long. I then hold forward China hat long and it will slave it to the point, to the sensor point of interest. So forward China hat long, rifle. What I did there was I just tapping up on the points on the TMS, up until that is a solid cross in the Maverick screen, and then hit your weapons release. Now for a bit of a close-up on the TGP. Probably wasn't that helpful a video, but I enjoyed making it. Thank you very much for watching.